welcome to another episode of irRational, Rational Moms. We're coming to you from MILF Estates, where, according to the realtors in our neighborhood, currently the inventory is really low. So if you can find a house, welcome. Come on in. Anyways, this is a new episode that we're going to be bringing to you every Wednesday. Hopefully, we're going to, we're moms, so some things might happen and we might just get a little bit off track, but we're going to keep it to a Wednesday. Also, if you didn't catch our first show, it was kind of entertaining. We kept it very simple, and it was an episode where you got to kind of get to know us a little bit better. And we also talked about some of our, some of the questions that we get commonly from our fans, which is, why did you pick your stage name? Where did you all meet? Because that's always a question that we get from our fans. Like, are you guys really friends? Do you really live in MILF Estates? Yes and yes. And then the one hot question that we always get is about our children, and are our kids okay? I hate that question, moms. Why do other women always have to ask, are your kids okay? My kids are good. How are your kids?
Exactly. Maybe their kids aren't okay.
They're good. So if you want to, hear all those fun things, just go back and listen to episode 1. All right. So I am dying to know this. Annabelle went to the 49er game on Sunday and the Rams, because she's a huge Rams fan. She's got these kick-ass tickets, like season tickets. And I'm always jealous, like when she goes and I don't get to go. There was something that happened. And when she was texting us, I almost spit out my fries. So tell me about this fry incident at the game.
So I feel like because of where my seats are located, they're right on the glass on the opposing team's tunnel. I feel like
you mean your bougie seats?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like, so before every game and after, a bunch of the opposing team's fans, obviously they want to come and be around the tunnel. And you see that in any NFL stadium. But the problem is they're not very considerate sometimes. And so, somebody's always on some bullshit. And so this week I took my friend Matt, who's a huge 49ers fan. And so I took, a member of the enemy with me. And before the game, we're like sitting there in our seats eating. And there's some people, some 49ers fans and one Rams fan kind of standing to the left of us. And I noticed the dude with the 49ers cape draped around him. He keeps kind of inching closer and closer to me. And I was like, Matt, look at this. This guy he's like encroaching on me. Just wait for it. So then, I forget about it though, because it's not like I'm sitting here watching the guy. And all of a sudden, somebody steps on my foot and knocks my French fries on the floor. And I'm like, yo, what the, bleep. And the kid looks at me, and it's a kid. I would say maybe 14 to 18 or something. And he just kind of looks at me. I'm like, I think I said something like, dude, you knocked my food on the floor. And so then what turns out to be his mom, I think, you can't tell from behind. She kind of pushes him over to where she was and switches places with him. But here's the thing. Neither of them apologized. If I step on somebody's foot and knock their food on the floor, not only am I going to apologize, but I would also offer to buy them more food. Now, I wouldn't have made them do that or anything, but I just thought, how freaking rude. And my child doing that. First of all, my kids know better than to step on someone's shoes, because that is fighting words, especially if you got on some sweet Jordans. But why are we not teaching our kids to apologize if they do something rude, like throw all someone's food on the floor? And, even though they weren't very good fries, they still probably cost $30 freaking dollars, and they're on the floor now. And I feel like that's the kind of stuff that happens all the time. And I'm like, and the seat neighbor that sits behind me, he's pretty funny. He's like, it's always something. It's always somebody stepping on your shoes or doing something. And it's true. And I really think it's just because of where the seats are, that front row, people want to come down there. So anyway, that was my, I think Matt thought before that I was joking when I talked about how I almost always get in a fight, but I was like, see, I didn't even do nothing. I'm literally just sitting here minding my own business, just enjoying the game. I even took a 49ers fan. I'm not against 49ers fans. It's like trouble just finds me or something. I don't know.
So maybe you need to wear some black combat boots or something next time.
Cool. Or maybe if people come down to your super expensive seats, they should at least be fucking polite. Excuse my language.
Maybe they were doing you a favor because, when we went, I'm just saying, hear me out.
Hear me out. The food at SoFi, at least where your bougie seats are, and I will say, yes, they are bougie seats, it's all fancy food. When we went, like I told you, I just want a hot dog, I want crappy nachos, and I want ice cream or cotton candy. That's what I want when I go. And it was like, they were like barbacoa nachos. I'm like, no.
I think you're right. You're right.
So I ended up getting a couple hot dogs, and I was like, so maybe they were just like, these fries are crappy. Let's help this chick out. Yeah. Throw them around.
They weren't very good. And what's weird about SoFi, the food there, is it's not very good on the whole. Like, some of the options are seeming like higher end or nicer.
Yeah.
But it's like just fine. So it kind of feels like, shouldn't it be better if we're going to do fancy food, or just do regular, like, nice ballpark fare that tastes delicious?
Regular food. These are football fans. Like, they just want stadium food. Like, that's why I go to the games. You know this. And I was looking everywhere. I was going to have to go to a different level to get crappy nachos. So that's unfortunate, but maybe I'll find them next time.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the bougie nachos, like that. The Padres Stadium, like those are those tri-tip nachos are the bomb. I mean, it's like I was sitting there like, even though after I ate like other food, I'm like, I still have to have these. These are just so delicious. Okay, the one thing I have to say about the SoFi Stadium is when we went with you one time, Tress, you were with us. I went to go look for a taco. Like, I wanted some tacos, right? And there is a taqueria, and I think it says taco stand, but they serve no tacos. And I'm like, how can you say you're like a taco stand, but you have no tacos and all you have are burritos? I'm like, it's a bait and switch there. I'm like, that's not cool.
And you know, the only place you can actually get tacos, or at least near where we sit, it's at the barbecue place. And the barbecue place is actually pretty good. That's where I eat most of the time. But they have tacos there, just not at the taqueria. It doesn't make any sense.
How can you how? I mean, this is LA. There's come on.
Well, and the way the stadium is set up, you can't even just like flow into other areas easily. So basically, unless you want to put a whole lot of effort into it, you have 3 or 4 places as your options to eat near your seats, and that's it. So I just eat the barbecue and, you know, get some Cadillac margaritas and call it a day.
Oh, which is a good question. How much is that Cadillac margarita? Like $40?
Funny you should ask. So my friend that I took, you know, I don't like want money for the seats or something, but he's like, oh, I'll buy your drinks and your food. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I ordered the margarita and they get like the upcharge for the like Don Julio Reposado. And I'm like, it's probably going to be like $40 a drink. I think it was maybe like $28 a drink, maybe 30, something like that. It's a lot. And it's not like they're big margaritas. It's just a regular size drink.
Damn. Okay, so then if someone spills your margarita, that's a reason to actually get upset. Yeah, and actually want to fight somebody, because that's a lot of money that just fell on the floor.
It really is. And not that I would
I've never fought anyone. But I would for fries, though. I would for fries. If you knock my fries on the floor, I'm like, listen, okay, it's going to have to happen for the first time, or you get me some new fries. I don't know, whichever one.
Oh my gosh. Now I almost want to like, we got to go to a game and we have to somehow like, I kind of want to see this happen.
Right. You're going to frame somebody so I get in an altercation with them?
Yes.
Wow, somebody's poor situation.
I would not really do that, but it would be kind of hilarious.
It would be funny because I'm such a lover. I don't know. It depends on what I've been doing beforehand. Yeah. Last time I had the pen because I didn't want to get car sick on the way there. We'll call it that. So it depends on how chill I am. We'll see.
It's true. But, I mean, seriously, people, get yourselves together. I mean, obviously, this wasn't a serious incident. There was a fight. There's always fights in the end zone, though, for some reason. I'm like, why at the Rams in that side of the end zone? I'm like, why do you want to spend, like, thousands of dollars to come to a game only to, like, not watch it because you go to jail or you're, like, in the hospital? I mean, some guy actually died after a fight. I think it was this past football weekend. It might have been like the Patriots game or Patriots Dolphins.
Yep, he was
like,
a Patriots
Come on, guys, what are we doing? I mean, I'm a total psycho from hillbilly, but like we're dying in stadiums. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Moral of the story is to be polite when you're out in public. I don't know.
And if you do make a mistake, just be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And usually, unless the person is completely drunk and irrational, which I may be irrational, but I'm not usually drunk in public, it's going to be fine. Just say you're sorry. I mean, have some freaking manners. And women, if you're not teaching your kids manners, shame on you.
So what did the mom say anything
Not
to you?
a word. I don't think
So
she
just
actually said
moved-
a single word. She looked at me and switched places with him. But
And then that was it?
That was all. And I was just like...
And then that had to be awkward, right? Because I'm like, her body language had to be like, I'm just now going to turn this way away from you.
But I think the other thing I said, these aren't even your seats. Like, come on. They weren't sitting there. They were just like down there to see the team. Oh. You see what I'm saying? It's not the people that are sitting next to me. The people that sit around us are great. Even when they sell their tickets and it's other fans, like we've never had problems. It's the fans that kind of sneak down there in order to stand around the tunnel and cheer for their fans, which I don't have a problem with people doing that, but it's like if you're going to do that, you can at least not trample other people. And I could, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, I could just go get you kicked out of the section. I don't want to do that. That's like Karen-ish, but I want to make them leave. So anyway, but I am curious there's a couple things I was thinking about sports that I wanted to ask you guys that we haven't really had a chance to talk about. First of all, Tris and I, if you guys don't know, I went to Georgia. Tris is a huge Alabama fan. So we have the rivalry. But the interesting thing, I think for lots of Georgia-Bama fans, we like sort of hate each other, but there's like a respect level. Whereas like there's other teams that we're rivals with that you just hate, you trash them, you trash their coaches. But like I would never say a word against Nick Saban, for example, because I think I highly respect him. So Bama's struggling this year, and one of the things I've seen is a lot of people, they're like, is the Nick Saban era over? Is Nick Saban washed? Which I think is just absolute. Well, actually, I'll hold my opinion. I'd like to see what you think about that.
Yeah, no, I think that Daddy Nick is doing just fine. And I call him that. There's been so many of these pins. When I was looking for a shirt to wear the last time, there was one that said Daddy Nick, and I was like, I'm going to make that happen next time because that's hysterical to me. Typically, just for the record, I think it's absolutely absurd to be walking around calling men daddy, but Daddy Nick, he's the exception. But, I mean, he's got a pretty new group, and it's not like an overnight thing. So they did end up pulling out a win this past week, but it was like not the most pretty win, I guess I should say. Like they could have way more blown it out of the water, but they are still getting some things together, so I think it'll be okay. I was watching the Georgia game and I was like, I'm not even going to text Annabelle because I don't know what's happening.
Georgia was horrible.
The chaos that's happening.
They were horrible too. I mean, neither of the teams had their best day, but they both won. So ultimately, like to me, one of the things I learned over the last 2 years with Georgia winning the Natty is like I think this is for Bama fans as well, when you get so used to like dominance, like utter dominance, then if you're not completely dominant, it's like, oh God, what's happening? We're failing. But it's like, that's ridiculous. A win is still a win. And like one of the things I was listening to, I think it was Jason and Travis Kelce when they were talking about like, are there ugly wins in sports? And Jason was kind of like, yeah. And Travis was like, nope, win's a win. And I'm like, let's go with that. And then, speaking of Travis Kelce, Ms. Poindexter, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs, or your early thoughts on the Chiefs season?
Okay, so the first game was ugly. I mean, Travis didn't play, right? Chris Jones was out. I mean, the receivers couldn't figure out how to the receivers couldn't figure out how to catch the ball and keep their hands on it. And I'm like, come on, you got one job, like really one job, and that's to catch the ball when it comes. But like watching it go through your hands, I'm like, damn, you get paid a lot of money to like let it just go through. But hey, it's the first game. They're trying to figure out like get their kind of groove back, and that's what we were talking about, Tris, right? It's like the first couple of games, I always feel like you have a lot of new players on there. You're trying to figure out like how is your groove going to work, because you've been doing all this practice, and you have these practice games, but it's not the same as actually having your first real like NFL game if you're brand new. So I just feel like they're just the first game was kind of a wash, but the second game they played the Jaguars. The Jaguars actually had the opportunity, I feel like, to win, and then they just could never. I mean, the Kansas City's defense like held them like in the red zone. So, and they never scored. So, I think that if our defense wasn't as good, it could have turned a different way. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, you just never know, right? It's football. And I tell my fans this all the time. Even though I love Kansas City, it's like, you know, it's just like it's a game, and you just never know what's going to happen. And some people have bad days and good days, and sometimes the receivers don't know what their job description is.
Sometimes they run the wrong routes, which we saw in both. I found one of the things I thought was really curious. First of all, I think the Rams did great against the 49ers.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I was kind of surprised how good they did.
I think that a lot of people are surprised that the Rams aren't as bad as we worried they would be. No offense to anyone. I love the Rams. But they're a very young group. I mean, there's a lot of guys on the team that are rookies or that are like second and third year and haven't been starters or really played in the league at all. So to me, it's pretty impressive, and it shows that there is something good going on with the leadership. One of the things that I thought was kind of wild, so there was a throw, and it happened right in front of us in the end zone. So it was like kind of stuck out in my mind when Matthew Stafford got called for intentional grounding on it was like an end zone pass. And basically it looked like Tutu ran the wrong route. And so he wasn't there. It wasn't like he was throwing it away, and he wasn't being pressured. So, you know, the language for the rules, it's like the reason you call intentional grounding is you threw it away because you're getting pressured and facing a loss of yards. So, and it was a late call too, so it was really curious. And then later on I saw the Seahawks game, I think I saw the clip later, where Gino Smith got called for basically the same thing, and you can hear him on the hot mic saying he ran the wrong route. And so, and he also wasn't being pressured that in that case. So I was wondering, like, is this like a new thing they're going to start calling randomly? Because I mean, there's a clear difference in somebody throwing the ball away, and then when there's like a ball thrown and there's a difference. It didn't appear to be intentional grounding in either case. And so I don't know, I just found it interesting. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, because guys totally have missed assignments sometimes. So
that was, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because that happened, at least twice, right, on Sunday? And I thought, wow, this is weird. I'm like, yeah, is it something that they're actually watching for and they're going to be calling more? Because, I mean, you could tell, and the coaches were pissed because they're like, hold up, like that was just a bad, it was a bad read all the way around from like the receivers to the quarterback, and so it wasn't intentional, and I get that, but maybe it's just they're trying to. I don't know what the NFL refs, what they're thinking is on this.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I did think it's funny that the first 2 weeks of the season, Gino Smith has been caught on a hot mic saying something hilarious. Like the first week, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was in the Rams game, and basically Aaron Donald's charging at him completely unblocked, and he goes, "Oh my God!" And you could hear it on the actual broadcast. And then so this week it was him on the ref's mic, and the ref was like, when Gino's trying to say he ran the wrong route, the ref's like, "I'm talking to America here."
Yes. I saw that clip. That's absolutely hysterical.
Like, poor guys, man. I do agree that it's the beginning of the year. It takes some time to get your team to gel together. I mean, I think you can sometimes tell a lot from the first couple weeks. Like, I think from the Rams side, you actually can tell they're not going to be horrible, that they've got something good going. Whereas last year, the first two games were like, oh, no. But like with the Chiefs kind of started out slow last year. I remember at the beginning of the year kind of thinking, ooh, I don't know about them this year. Mm-hmm. But then they won the Super Bowl. And, the same thing. I mean, Alabama, they got a baby quarterback. They got a bunch of babies behind him. I mean, and the other thing I think is interesting about Saban is, he used to have all these coaches that are now like really successful head coaches in college football all used to work for him. So it's like, well, that's part of what makes you successful is the people you surround yourself with, right? So I'm like, he has some newer people, maybe his people that work for him. It's not him, they need more experience and putting together roster and coaching. I don't know. Thought it was kind of interesting though. Yeah,
I think definitely like this weekend's going to be a fun weekend watching football. Also, the 49ers are doing pretty good. I was super impressed. Like their first game, I was like, they came out strong, and I was like, man, I'm like, they're going to be, I just kind of feel like they're going to be a top contender this year.
And I think last year they probably would have been in this, or I mean, you don't know, but without Brock Purdy getting hurt, they had a good chance to be in the Super Bowl. So, and they don't appear to have had anything really happen that would weaken their team as far as I can tell, but I don't know.
But you just never know, right? I mean, you don't know what type of injuries are going to come out
Yeah.
or what's going to happen. Just, I mean, we still have a lot of football left.
Yeah.
Hey,
We're just
shout
in
out to the 49ers, because when I was younger, I grew up in Texas, and my family they were all Cowboy fans, and I guess I want to be different, so I was like, no, 49ers all the way. I had a Steve Young bobblehead doll and everything. Like, I had a 49ers blanket and all that. So,
Aw,
yeah.
that's cute.
I didn't get to watch the game, but shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
All right. So I do have a question for you guys, because we have all these questions that come in from different fans all over. And one of the questions is, what is your favorite hobby, Triss? Besides snacks.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, man, I really just want to say my favorite hobby is the gym, because I feel like I don't get out between the gym and like going to the beach. And even when I go to the beach, it's like typically for a walk on the beach. So I don't know. I think the gym is got to be, I'm not like weaving or knitting or any of that stuff. I just can't. I probably wouldn't make it very far through that. But
I cannot see you doing that.
I can't see the needles
No.
because my boobies are in the way.
right?
But is that okay? What about the guy at the gym? Is he still hitting on you or texting you?
That's just like an interesting situation, because yeah.
Oh, I don't know if Annabelle knows about this. She was at the gym one day and this guy kept on hitting on her, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen you. Like, I see you all the time, and do you need help with your form?" And then, hey, let me text you. And he's texting her like, "Oh, you should. I can help you out."
Help with the form.
He said he
Yes.
used to be a trainer, and I had basically, I don't know, I had not seen him in there before, but not being like, oh, I don't notice people, but I go into the gym and I'm just working out. I don't go in there to like pay
Right.
attention to anybody. I don't even make eye contact. I'm so awkward and weird. I just like, I don't even talk to anybody. They come up and talk to me, we can have a conversation, but I'm not going to talk to you at all.
Yeah.
So he got, like, I was like, hey, are you using the squat rack? And because I'm trying to, my goal is to try and do a pull-up unassisted. I don't know, I have spaghetti arms, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But anyways, he was like, oh yeah, I'm not using it. And that was like his in to start chatting with me. So he kept coming up when I was on different machines, and anyway, said he was going to help me out. So, but yeah, he just got a little needy, and I didn't notice him at the gym one day, and I was like, oh, you haven't been there in a while. And he's like, yeah, I was there. And you looked right at me. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, if I don't look at you and make some kind of like hi, but
No.
it really annoyed me, because I thought to myself afterwards, like, if you saw me and you didn't wave or do any kind of like, hey, most people were like, woohoo, like, I'm right here. And I'm like, that just seems a little, I don't know, too needy for me. You know how I am. I can't deal with that. Like, just be a man and say hi or something. I'm not there to like be looking at people. I don't make eye contact. Plus, I think he didn't have a hat on. And I'm like, I had not seen you before that first time that we interacted. Like, what do you want me to do?
I didn't know what you looked like without a hat. My
I
bad.
don't want to say I'm ditzy, because I'm not ditzy, but it's just like, I don't know if airy is the word. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm just carefree.
You're just not paying attention.
I'm not. Yeah, like that's not what I'm there for. So I'm not going to be like, "Ooh, where's this guy at?" But then it would be like he would text and say something, and then I would respond. Like, I responded when he said, hey, you looked right at me, you didn't say anything. I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, you should have like said something to me so I could pay attention. And he never responded. And then like days later or a week later, he says something, and I'm like, okay, I'm not here to play any of this game with you. I'm not looking for anything like that, because obviously I already have my situation. But I'm like, you are just way too, I say the word needy. I don't necessarily think there's a such thing as being too needy, but in that situation, it's the only way I can describe it. Just a little whiny, maybe.
To me, that's the kind of thing that people on the internet would say that's female behavior. And I would not act like that ever as a female, but that's the kind of thing people would say. Like, what are you doing, bro? Come on.
Right? Like,
Get outta here.
we're not, in a relationship. Like, I had never, that was the first time we'd interacted. And then the second time you're mad because apparently I looked at you and didn't process everything. But yeah, probably even if we're just hanging out, like you could be talking to me and I will mom block the hell out of you. So if I don't look at you directly, we make eye contact and I acknowledge something, it's very possible that I have no idea. Like you could be having a conversation right next to me and it's very polite for me to just mom block your conversation because I don't need to be in on that.
Right.
And I'm not going to be able to tell anything that you were talking about. So, but yeah, it's just like, don't mess up my happy place, okay? This is my favorite place. I go to the gym. I love working out. I love feeling sore the next day because then I know I'm doing something. And I don't know, it's just like, don't mess up my happy place by being whiny.
Yeah, get out of here with that. Come on.
Yeah, I told her, I think he probably gets a lot of attention from women, and so then he wasn't getting the attention from her, and so it really hurt his feelings and his man ego.
I thought about that the other day, and then I don't know if it was today or yesterday, I saw a reel of some chick talking about the nerdy guys, get the nerdy guys, and I'm telling you, I've always been super attracted to the nerdy, smart. Like when I was younger, Donatello was my Ninja Turtle because he was the smart, intelligent one. Okay, no, that's weird. I don't care, but he was the one that I went for. My boyfriend in high school was like top 3%. I would tell him to read his calculus out loud while he was doing it because I don't know what you're doing, but it sounds sexy and I'm about it. So just and
like secondary knowledge.
Yes. And I'm realizing that the super I'm attractive, they don't appreciate things the same. And I can't necessarily say that all of them are like that because that would be a little judgmental. And a lot of times there's a glow up. Maybe you were super nerdy in high school and you did a little glow up thing, but I do think that the nerdy guys are where it's at. They're more passionate, they're more attentive, and I just think it's more there. That's more my connection. I have a thing for glasses. Like if you've got the whole nerd package going on, I'm probably going to be into that.
So do you get turned on when people are pillow talks hey, did you see that black hole? Do you know how gravity gets sucked into the black hole and nothing can escape? No light, no nothing. You're just I need more. Why. Talk to me more.
I don't do that. It's so funny that you're saying that because now every time, when I'm watching football and then I also watch Gold Rush, everything they say sounds so dirty. Whenever they're talking about things on Gold Rush, they're talking about the glory hole and every time, and especially on football, we should definitely do a segment where I get to read some of my favorite comments from football or something because I'm man, I don't know if I'm that immature. I don't know if I just have that much of a dirty mind, but you guys really, you're sounding a little sus at this point. I don't know. How do they not giggle the whole time they're on the air?
Right.
That is funny. All right, Annabelle, what is your favorite hobby? Besides cooking food.
Talking shit.
Ooh. Talking shit.
Or should I say talking smack? I don't know
Yes.
which words have to be bleeped or not. Yeah, I mean, really, that's sort of. I like sports and cooking. That's pretty much all. And I like the two of you and 2 other people. And that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, I go to a lot of sports because that's the thing that I value. It's the thing you can do as a family to have fun together and also with friends. I'm not a Disney mom or I don't really like any kid activities, so it's been really easy as everyone's gotten older to just go to sports. That's kind of our thing that we do. And of course, it's nice that I have girlfriends who also like sports and genuinely like them. Don't just pretend to like them. And you can talk about it because, it's funny how I feel so many men are surprised when they encounter women who actually like sports. They're not just saying it, they like sports to impress a man. I know tons of women that love sports and are really knowledgeable. So I'm where are the girls that are pretending? I'm not friends with those kind of people. That's not who I want to be friends with.
Right?
So, you know.
I mean, it's always fun to be able to text you like on a Sunday or a Monday night and be like, did you see that play? What the heck just happened?
Yeah, it's super nice. And I feel like I do more, whereas a lot of people, when they like have a few minutes of downtime and they're bored, they're like scrolling Instagram, whereas I'm like scrolling sports Twitter. That's kind of what I do, because I like want to know all the breaking news. Even though I can't remember people's names and I can't remember stuff, I do love to know what's going on kind of in all those arenas. So
Just no fighting on Twitter or X, what do you want to call it.
I almost never.
Oh,
get
almost
involved.
never is not. No.
Well, like the other
You
day.
got into like almost a Twitter like screaming match
Wait, which time? I mean, it silly happens. Well, like the other day.
about sports.
Well, I mean, yeah, it happens a lot. I'm not even gonna get into it because I try to ignore internet trolls, but I do get irritated when people, sometimes I'm just in the mood to like, I'm kind of want to fight, and so I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go tell some people how wrong they are about whatever random thing, I don't know. So wait, your hobby other than hunting? That's your hobby. What do you have other hobbies?
Well, hunting during the fall time, yeah.
Right.
Oh, my other hobby. You guys know what my other hobby is. Drinking champagne with you.
I was going to say champagne.
Right?
It's like, are we putting booze as a hobby? I don't know. Champagne enthusiasts.
Yes. I mean, just good champagne, though. Not the crappy stuff that you have at weddings where it's just, like, horrible. Like, what is that? Corbel? Like, that's not even real champagne. That's, like, something that's going to give you a hangover or a headache, like, instantly, right? Or you have to mix it with, like, some
The
type of
free
juice.
mimosa champagne, that's always this terrible stuff. You're going to feel awful if you drink that.
I won't drink it. I won't drink mimosas because I'm like,
No.
then you guys are just giving me, like, the worst, cheapest, like, sparkling wine that I'm going to be, like, I'm going to have to go throw up.
Yeah,
Which I
remember-
learned from my neighbor. That's how you drink. I mean, I'm in my late 40s, and now I finally figured out what you do when you drink too much. You go throw up, and you get an IV. It maybe it's because I'm older, and I need, like, I can't recover as well, and my metabolism's slower, so I just cannot handle that much alcohol.
Remember the time we were at a bar one time, and it turns out the manager of that restaurant and bar used to work with me in a restaurant a long time ago.
You're going to tell this story?
And we had ordered drinks, and for some reason it was taking forever. And I have no patience for anything and anyone in the world except for people in the service industry. I think just because that's what I've worked in my whole life. So I have patience for servers. I understand stuff's happening and you can't always control it, and guests can be nightmares. So I try to not be a nightmare guest. So they're taking a long time. So this manager, he comes out and he apologizes to us, and he's bringing a bottle of champagne. He's going to be like, hey, here's a little, some champagne for everyone while you wait on your cocktails. Now,
So embarrassing.
I
It's
personally
not
was not
champagne.
going to drink that because I know it would give me a headache. But I would have just accepted it and just ignored it. However, Mrs. Poindexter's like, no, we just don't want that. Thank you, we appreciate it, but I'd rather just buy a good bottle of champagne.
I do remember this place.
Okay. And then she gave me so much crap about, like, you're so rude. And it was you and somebody else. They're like, I cannot believe how rude you are. I'm like, listen, number one, he's going to open up a bottle of sparkling wine, not even champagne. There's a difference between sparkling wine and champagne.
For sure.
Sparkling wine, no one's going to drink it. So I'm just saving you, from like actually opening a bottle and it just going to waste. So my suggestion was, why don't I just buy a better bottle and you bring it? Because clearly you can bring a bottle faster than you can actually pour drinks at the bar. Because we stopped there. It was like 40 minutes, right? The food had came already. We already had the food and we still were waiting for our drinks.
Yeah, like none of the things you thought or felt were wrong. It wasn't that not wanting it was, and it was ridiculous, and it was nice of him to, but I was just more like, you could have just been a little more polite.
Okay, I apologized. I pulled him aside, said, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to come off as being rude. And can I buy a bottle of Dom, but can you give it to me for cost?
And you did give him a glass of it, I think.
Yeah, he did. He gave it to me for cost,
so-
and I'm like, hey, I'll trade you. I'll give you a glass of Dom Perignon if you let me have it for cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See,
And it ended up working out great. It was totally no big deal, but it was just funny because, like,
She knows what she likes. That's okay.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
No, thank you on the apology gift, sir.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's like I'm not going to waste, well, I will waste alcohol, right? I'll open a bottle and if it doesn't taste good, I'll pour it out. I have no problem doing that at all because I'm like, I'm too old to have a headache. I'm too old to be like drinking stuff that's not good.
Yep.
Right? I
Totally agree.
Right? You're not going to give me no bad cheap gin when you make a gin and tonic.
No, but if you drank some Bombay Sapphire, that is not going to do you dirty the way that cheap champagne will.
Yes. We don't want to need to go into that. All right. Okay. Tris, you're up.
What am I? I don't drink.
No.
Wait.
Okay. Maybe
Wait,
I'll
what
go.
am I doing?
All right.
Can we talk about snacks now?
Oh,
Yes, we can talk-
snacks.
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. We'll have
Okay.
to do something. So,
We need a transition.
No, it's fine.
I think going from champagne is a really good way to go into like, I love when I'm
snacks.
drinking champagne to eat popcorn.
Or like when you pretend to drink but only have one tiny sip and then just drink your water.
Do. I feel so
Yes.
bad. Because I was going through a little phase where I was just like, no, I do want to have a drink. And then I would just be like, oh, like, I don't know why I'm drinking this. I would rather be chugging some water right now. But it's just a trigger for my migraines. So I have been getting mocktails, which my boyfriend's like, that's not even, like, nobody says mocktails. I'm like, yes, they do. It is a thing. People say that. Sonic has a whole menu of mocktails, okay? So it is a thing. But I did learn, this is a side note, I did learn that you can't just be like, I need a fruity mocktail. Because they'll send you just juice. Like, I did that recently, and it was like pineapple and orange juice mixed together. I'm like, this isn't a mocktail. Like, it should still be a mixed drink, a good quality mixed drink. Because most of the time, like, I was in Fort Lauderdale a couple weeks ago, and I still was paying like $10 for each of the mocktails that I was getting. So, like, it should still be a good quality. Now, I've learned if I ask for like a strawberry mojito mocktail, phenomenal, like the best ones ever. So that's what I've been ordering. And socially, I learned that it's like more of just a habit for people to be holding a drink. So as long as I have that mocktail, even though there's no alcohol, it's still like everybody's engaging. You feel a little bit different because you have that drink in your hand. Like it's all, I don't know what that's called. Not
No,
like placebo
I always
effect,
I need something in my hands. I need something to do with my hands. So I have to have a drink. And even if I'm not drinking, I'll have like club soda and lime or just something because otherwise I'm too awkward and my arms are too long. Like what am I going to do with my hands while I'm trying to socialize?
Is this like Ricky Bobby? Like
Exactly.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Right.
Don't touch the mic. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay. So the whole point of that was to get into the snacks. So snack of the week, I guess we'll say. We have talked about my cookie jar a bunch of times on different platforms, and I love my cookie jar. I don't ever put anything else except for Oreos in there because they're stackable and Oreos are the best. They're always double stuff. So today I'm going to just show off my little Oreo jar real quick. It's for
little.
anybody that wants to see. Yes, say little. Hold on.
It's so cute though.
This is my Oreo jar. It's a 2-gallon glass jar, and it is not full, but I've been hitting the Oreos pretty hard lately. So and actually yesterday I was just like, because when I go a few days without the gym, I start getting in my head a little bit, and I do think the gym is great for mental health, especially for me. It keeps me sane and not thinking bad things. But like, oh my God, I'm so fat or something. Mr. Poindexter would actually kick my butt when he hears me say that.
Yeah.
But so anyways, I was like, looked over and I was like, maybe I should lay off the Oreos a little bit when we get back. And we were like sitting there for a second. I was like, okay, or maybe what if I just do more cardio and keep the same amount of Oreos? So I think I'll find a balance of doing. I did actually do a little more cardio today. Usually I just do a mile and then I'm out of there. But I did whatever like 22 or 23 minutes got me. It was like jogging and walking. I did like a mile and a half almost. So now I can have more Oreos tonight before bed, and I don't feel
guilt-free.
bad about it. Yeah.
So how many packages of Oreos does that thing hold? Because you don't put the Oreos in the middle, right? It's just all on the outside.
No, I just do it on the outside, and we're not going to mention the the people that started this, because I think a lot of people are anti-Kardashian. But that is where I got the idea from, because one of the girls actually has this Oreo jar. But yeah, I just stack them around the outside, and then I like alternate, and it just makes like this cool little design. But it's a 2-gallon Oreo jar. It's specifically made for Oreos. It's a 2-gallon jar, and it probably, if they're double stuff and it's a family package, like five packs would fill it all the way at the top. I usually just put 4 in there just for sake of not wasting a ton of them, because usually like the last few rows don't get
stale.
eaten, because they'll eventually. But I mean, this glass jar keeps them pretty fresh. Like, it'll go a few weeks where I don't have to swap it out. So it's not too bad.
Do you put Halloween ones in there? Like the orange stuffed?
Maybe I will this year. I'm not a fan of Halloween. I don't want to get scared. You would think in this industry, I'd love to dress up like a little risque, we'll say extra risque from what I usually kind of do a little bit. But I don't like scary movies. I don't know what it is. I don't even like the commercials. I have a backup channel. So in October is the worst. So I have available the backup channel for when the creepy like poltergeist kind of like exorcism commercials come on, or like Halloween number 25 where Michael's died like 5 times and he came back again somehow, or some weird thing happens. Anyway, so I click it off real quick, and if I'm not by the remote, this is no joke, I have to like plug my ears and do a little because I don't want to hear it if it's gonna scare me. So yeah, I don't do Halloween.
So I don't like scary movies at all. And I don't like anything pumpkin flavored. But aren't the Oreos, do they just food coloring dye the cream? Or they actually flavor them?
Yeah. Okay. No, it's just coloring. It's just orange coloring instead of the white. So then you have like a little Halloween color. Okay, so I guess what we learned here is that if you live in MILF Estates, you do not trick or treat Trissa's house, because she ain't going to give you no candy.
I mean, I'll give you snacks all day. I just don't try and pop out and scare me or anything like that. I've had 2 kids. I don't know what the situation will be. I might tinkle a little bit or something. Just don't do it.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
Funny snack of the week. I mean, I like, since it's almost Halloween, I love candy corn.
You're the weird one that likes candy corn.
It's just like chewing wax. I don't understand it. It's like, oh, you put some food coloring in wax. Cool, give me a candle to chew on.
No, it's all sugar. It's just all like, it melts in your mouth, sugar. Especially the little pumpkins.
No. That's like even more of the inside of whatever the wax is. The kind of softer wax. No, thank you. Not for me.
I'm gonna dress up.
We'll have to do Halloween outfits on here, because I have that pink thing coming in, and I got these little bunny ears. Shoot, that's the closest thing to Halloween outfit.
I dress up as a costume, but my costumes are always like, the first time I dressed up, I was like a crazy cat lady, so I wore like a fluffy pink robe and Velcroed stuffed cats to me and put my hair in curlers. And so then after that, I just basically was like, okay, what am I be this year? What have I done? A bat cat. I saw like
you
an
were like a judge
picture.
cat, weren't you?
I was
judge cat.
Oh yeah, I was
judge cat.
RB Gato, I think is what we called it. It was like RBG, but as a cat. Yeah. And I was a bat cat one time. I was a catterfly one time. It's all ridiculous because I'm not good. Like, okay, Tris can wear cute, sexy costumes. Me, no, it looks ridiculous. So I just try to make my costume ridiculous and lean into it. Because if it's unserious, then people can just laugh and move on instead of being like, ooh, that doesn't look great on her or whatever.
But so are you a crazy cat lady? Because I noticed your cat poster behind you, and we were trying to figure out cat butts or guitars.
You know, so a friend of mine, when we were in France several years ago, bought that for me. It's like a tea towel, I think. And I think it's the cats are following the lady with the food. So, yeah, it's cat butts. And I do love cats. I only have one cat currently. And as long as I'm a woman of an age that desires male companionship, I will only have one cat. But I think when I'm like old, I'll just fully be like, give me all the cats. Yeah, that's my retirement plan. It's cats.
That I can see that.
Cats are fun, but they're jerks. At least my dogs, I can cuddle with them.
Jalen Ramsey's not a jerk. He's very nice. Normally. There's just that
I was
one
going to
day.
say, that one test that we did for this, he was chaotic back there.
He was like a toddler who needs mommy's attention or something, which is so bizarre because he just usually sleeps in a basket during the day. So I don't know what was going on.
All right. Okay, so we went over cats and how Annabelle's going to be the crazy cat lady when she grows up. Oh, when you get older, I should
when
say.
I grow up, no.
Do cats eat people like when they die, like how Chihuahuas do?
I think for sure. I don't know about Ramsey, but my old cat, Olive, I knew the way she would like try to lick my eyeballs, that if I died before her, she would fully eat my eyeballs, like 100%.
Because you know Chihuahuas do that, right? Like they are known
awful.
for like eating like dead people.
Those
like,
dogs are terrible. I hate
That's
those
creepy.
dogs.
And yes, I did know that. It's so awful.
I didn't know that about them. I knew cats. I think cats will eat your body for sure. Your dogs, Poindexter, your dogs 100% eat y'all if you died. I mean, they're
they
big
wouldn't.
German shepherds.
They
and
would
if they
lay
had
next
no
to
food
me
for a
and
while.
no, they would lay next. They'd lick me.
Yeah, and they'll be like, oh, that tastes good. Well, she's not moving. I'm hungry, so here we go. I mean, they eat raw meat as their food, right?
They do. They eat raw chicken or sometimes raw steak. Something that they have to have like a bone in it so they can like grab onto it and eat it. So if you just give them like a chicken breast, they're just like, this is gross. There's like no bone for me to chomp on.
I
so,
kind of agree
raw.
on chicken breast, though.
What? Yeah.
I like
You
the
gotta
dark
have
meat.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Any subject, it applies. It's fine. We're talking about chicken, but
We are, and I think we're running out of time today too.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we can maybe next time talk about chicken and like the difference between white and dark meat if you want, since you're a chef. I mean,
sounds very scandalous. Yeah, let's do it.
all right, so now we know what we're talking about next episode. All right, so I just want to say thank you for hanging out with us from the Moms of MILF Estates and our irrational podcast, and every week we'll have something different and we'll be talking about some, sports, what happened that week, maybe some current events, and then, what's the snack of the week is, right?
All right. Yeah, we'll be back with more snacks next week. Yeah, that's it. We'll be back. We need to talk about what women don't understand about men too. We didn't get to that, but we will do that.
forgot about that.
for sure. We'll add that and more snacks.
Yes.
Always more snacks, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because moms have the snacks.
Moms have the best snacks.
Yes.
Yes.